Hey everyone, and welcome to another Explainer. Today, we are breaking down the absolute anatomy of a cinematic masterpiece, Spider-Man No Way Home. Look, we all know this isn't just your run-of-the-mill superhero flick where the good guy punches the bad guy and everyone cheers. No, this is a complete emotional roller coaster. It's a deep dive into hope, this incredibly heavy burden of responsibility, and ultimate sacrifice that just grabs you from the very first frame and absolutely refuses to let go.
So, think about this for a second. What if your biggest secret ruined your friends' lives? Because that is the exact high-stakes nightmare Peter Parker is plunged into right off the bat. We pick up literally right where Far From Home left off. His secret identity is out there, broadcast to the entire world. And it's not just his problem, you know? It is actively destroying the futures of the people he loves most. I mean, his best friends, MJ and Ned, are suddenly watching their college dreams at MIT completely vanish just because they're associated with him. The guilt and the pure desperation Peter feels here, it's just so palpable, and that crushing weight is exactly what drives everything that happens next.
Okay, let's dive straight into this with Section 1, the catalyst of chaos.
So, a desperate Peter goes to Doctor Strange looking for a magic fix, right? A spell to just make the world forget he's Spider-Man. But here is where the real tragedy hides inside what is honestly a pretty hilarious moment. As Doctor Strange is weaving this incredibly dangerous, reality-altering magic, Peter just cannot stop talking. He's nervously tweaking the parameters of the spell mid-incantation because, wait, he suddenly realizes MJ will forget him. Oh, and then Ned, then Aunt May. His frantic backpedaling completely shatters the spell's stability. And bam, as a direct result, the multiverse tears wide open. It's wild how a simple, totally relatable desire to just protect his loved ones triggers a massive, unprecedented threat to the entire universe. A tiny, well-intentioned mistake just spirals into a cosmic-level catastrophe.
Which brings us to Section 2, the spectacle, opening the multiverse.
Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Electro, Lizard, Sandman. I mean, bringing back these iconic villains from the legacy Spider-Man franchises was just a massive, phenomenal decision. It acts as the film's absolute biggest attraction for sure. But what makes this so incredibly special goes way beyond just nostalgia. We have to talk about the masterclasses in acting going on here. Take Willem Dafoe returning as the terrifying Green Goblin. The guy doesn't even wear the goblin mask for most of the film. Instead, he uses pure, chilling facial expressions to flip back and forth between this terrified, confused Norman Osborn and the completely sinister, cackling goblin. It's actually terrifying. And then you have Alfred Molina bringing this incredible gravity and tragedy right back to Doc Ock. They're not just reprising roles, they are taking the movie to a totally different level, elevating the entire cinematic experience.
Now, what's really interesting as we pivot here is Section 3, the core conflict, an ideological clash. Let me ask you, should everyone get a second chance? Like even villains who have done terrible, deeply destructive things? This isn't just some abstract philosophical debate for us to chew on. This is the central, defining struggle that Peter has to face. It literally dictates every single decision he makes once these guys arrive in his universe. Because if he just sends them back to their original timelines, they are doomed to die fighting their own respective Spider-Man. It's a seriously brutal ethical dilemma.
And this sets up a brilliant contrast that totally subverts what we usually expect from the superhero genre. Normally, right, the third act culminates in this massive physical brawl, just defeating the villains by punching them into submission or blasting them out of the sky. But Peter's actual goal here becomes an ideological battle, curing them, saving them from their fatal destinies. He realizes that his greatest superpower in this film isn't just his web shooters or his physical strength, it's his intellect, and honestly, his empathy. He is literally using chemistry sets, lab equipment, and pure compassion to fight this war. His true conflict is deeply moral. It's this clash of ideals that tests exactly what kind of hero he actually wants to be.
Let's take a breath and slow things down a bit for Section 4, the emotional core, growth through grief.
Taking this noble, ideological stance comes with a devastating, unimaginable cost. Aunt May's character arc provides the most significant, painful pivot in the entire narrative. When she is struck down by the Green Goblin, it is the ultimate price of Peter's morality. This is where he learns the harsh, brutal reality that doing the right thing doesn't always guarantee a happy ending. Through her ultimate sacrifice, Peter is forced to transition from this somewhat naive teenager making rash decisions into a deeply responsible hero who truly understands the immense, often heartbreaking weight of his actions.
With great power, there must also come great responsibility. You know, we've heard this phrase a million times in pop culture, but in No Way Home, its true, deepest meaning is finally and painfully understood. This is not just a fun little callback for the fans. It is Aunt May's dying breath, imparting the ultimate Spider-Man philosophy to a Peter who is just absolutely shattered, bleeding, and surrounded by wreckage. It's no longer just a catchy tagline.